What would you do to protect your family, to protect your children, to protect the people that you love? And we live in a world now where it seems that the health of our children, the well-being of our children, the future of our children is something that isn't perhaps thought about or considered or even cared about. And it's a very controversial thing for me to say because I'm not a mum. It's controversial because the world has beautiful parents and beautiful children and some amazing people. But I've been on the planet a really long time and I've seen a lot of horrible things happen in the world. And how do we make sure that our kids have healthy, strong, fit bodies and brains so that they're happy and healthy, physically and mentally happy and healthy? So an interesting thing going on in the world at the moment, and it's been going on forever, people have wars. Countries go to war with each other about religion or culture or money or oil or all of the things that causes war. And my personal history on that is it's very personal because both of my parents were very much involved in the Second World War. My mother was German. Everyone in her family became part of the Nazi process except my mother. And my father was put into Auschwitz concentration camp as a political prisoner. So you can imagine the horrible stories that my parents have told me about the war. No food, no medication, watching people die. They were very privileged and honoured to get on a boat straight after the Second World War and come to Australia. And I'm sharing that with you because my parents both said to me, freedom is everything. Freedom of speech and being alive to live your life your way is the most important thing in the world, which is why we've come to Australia. As an interesting side note, my father could speak 7 languages, my mother could speak only German. But when they moved to Australia, my father said, we're not speaking any other language except English. We live in a country that speaks English. We're going to take on the culture, the traditions, the language. We're going to live as Australians. So me and my 3 sisters and brother, we are Australians because that's where we were born and that's how we lived our lives. I'm sharing that very personally because my father, who went through the most horrific experiences in Auschwitz concentration camp, and my mother, who went through the most horrific experiences as a nurse in Berlin, both brought me up with the most positive attitude about life. Live your life to the max. I say it every day. It's not just a mantra or a saying. It's a way of life for me. And I want that for our kids. There is a war, however, that I wish we did go, every single parent, teacher, coach, boss, leader went to war on negativity, particularly negativity about anything else that's happening in the world. Because I'm now dealing with kids on a daily basis. We have a martial arts club. These kids are learning to fight and defend themselves, protect their family. But they're not learning how to fight fights or start fights. They're learning how to protect and defend themselves. So these little children who have got positive parents, obviously, because martial arts parents are different than most other parents, because they want their kids to learn discipline and respect, have a positive attitude, be gracious in and have gratitude for living. I'm talking the Dragons Code now. That's what we use at our club. Dragon stands for discipline, respect, positive attitude, gratitude, honesty, and a never give up spirit. That's what we teach our kids. But I want our kids to go into the future knowing that it's possible to be happy, healthy, fit, strong, have a career or business that you love, be financially free, and have beautiful people in your life. That's what I want for the children that I'm involved with. How about you? So if we put negativity into their little heads, and this is my big bugbear, I haven't listened to the radio. I can't remember. It's got to be 30 years now. And if I happen to hear radio in a shop or in a doctor's office or in the supermarket, I leave. I don't want to listen to the radio because the radio is designed to put thoughts into your head that aren't yours. Other people's opinions, other people's music choices, other people's jokes. And I don't know who controls the radio delivery. I don't know who's creating the words that the radio people have to say. I don't want to be controlled by anybody, so I don't listen to the radio. I don't watch television for exactly the same reason. So I listen to the music that I want to listen to, and I put positivity into my headspace. Because if you put trash into your brain, if you put rubbish into your brain, then of course rubbish is going to come out of your mouth, or you're going to live your life in a rubbish way, because we're affected by everything we listen to. So I'm really perplexed right now why any parent, teacher, coach, boss or leader would have on their radio, on their television, negative stuff. And obviously the news is designed to be negative. It has to be, because otherwise nobody would watch it. For some bizarre reason, humans love hearing about negativity, not positivity. So if you're hearing about, I'll use war as an example. My parents refused to talk about war when they came to Australia. They had lived the worst, and my father said, no more. We're not talking about it. So I was brought up with, and I'm a very old lady, so I knew about the Vietnam War, I knew about the Korean War, I knew about the 9/11 towers coming down. I actually went up those towers before they came down, and obviously I went there afterwards, and I've seen the Freedom Tower. But my father would be very disappointed in me for doing that, because that was part of a war. And my father said, don't put war into your head because it creates negative thoughts. So as a parent, as a teacher, why would you put into your kids' heads the radio or television which reports on war? Now, there's war everywhere, obviously. There's always been wars in Africa, in the Middle East. There's wars in Eastern Europe. There's always been war, always. But if I don't know about it, it can't affect my head. I can't do anything about a war in Africa. I can't do anything about a war in the Middle East. If war came to my house, if a tank drove up my driveway and wanted to kill my family, that would be a different story. And I'm being very controversial now because I don't understand the machinations of war. I don't understand why somebody would want to go into somebody else's country and kill them. I just would like everyone to live peacefully and happily and be healthy, fit and strong and have great days every day. That's just my happy, positive outlook on life. But there is a war that, again, negativity I think is something that we need to go to war against, because war simply means I want to control what that other person's doing. I don't like what that country's doing, so we're going to bomb them or we're going to go to war with them so that we can control what they're doing. Well, I would love a war on negativity, because I don't think that if you put negative things into your head, and people say to me, Rowie, but you have to be a realist. Yes, but if I can't change it, if I can't fix it, if I can't make it better, why would I put it into my head? I'm not going to waste my time on things I have no control over. And that's one of the things about stress. We stress about two things. We stress about things we have no control over, and we stress about things we do have control over. Well, there's an interesting thing to consider. If you haven't got control over it, why would you stress about it? Move on. Forget about it. You can't do anything about it. If you have got control over it, you don't need to stress about it. Do something about it. I think that's pretty logical common sense. The next thing I would love us to go to war on about, I literally would like to kill inactivity diseases. I would not just prevent them, but get rid of the diseases that are in people now. And they're all preventable and curable. So coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, depression. Most depression is caused by inactivity and a body that's unfit and unhealthy. And the medical professionals will agree with me. Most cancers are caused by inactivity, and the oncologists will agree that around 80% of cancers are caused by lifestyle. I would like to go to war on those things, and technically I have been my whole life. I've been a warrior. I've been at war with coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, depression, cancer, horrible brain diseases. I've been at war with them my whole life. But the interesting thing is, it's an easy war to win if you take the right process. If you don't do it, you'll lose the war. Those diseases will literally kill you. But they don't have to. You can win that war. If you get really fit and you get really strong and you've got a positive attitude and you get fresh air and sunshine and you've got beautiful people around you, they're the things that are proven now that people live the longest. The people in the world that live over 100 with quality of life and a happy, healthy life are the ones that get fresh air, sunshine, they're fit, they're strong, they've had a career or business that they love, they do something every day that they love to do, and they've got great people in their life. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? I bang on about those things every day. They are the longevity fundamentals if you want to live a long time. So war kills people. I'm going to go to war with the things that kill me, which is not having any sunshine, not getting fresh air, being weak, being unfit, being fat, being frail, being diseased, being depressed. I'm not having any of that in my life. I refuse. And I'm not even a parent Surely as a parent, as a teacher, as a coach who looks after athletes or a team of people in a business, surely you would want that for the people that you love. So we need to fight against the horrible inactivity diseases that are killing the people that we love. We need to fight against negativity, because once you get a seed of negativity into your brain, it expands very, very quickly. And if the first thing that you put into your head in the morning is war and murder and car crashes and break-ins and horrible news from your country or somebody else's, how can you possibly have a great day? If you turn on the television at 6 o'clock at night and you put into your head wars and murders and car crashes and horrible things that have happened in the world, things that you have no control over. People tell me, oh, there's been a bushfire, or there's been a tornado, or there's been a flood. I have no control over those things. That's Mother Nature being cranky. And we have to understand that if we've got no control over it, why would we stress about it? I use this example all the time. If you live in Australia in the bush, your house is going to get burnt. So you have to have insurance, but you have to be aware that at some stage it's going to get burnt. If you live in the Midwest of America, it's very likely that you're going to be part of a tornado experience. If you live in Miami in America, you're going to be part of a hurricane experience. I live in New Zealand. I have to be aware that I'm going to be part of an earthquake experience, and I have been. So we have to accept that we take risks. And those risks that you can insure against or you can have risk management for, again, I'll use the human body as an example. There is a big risk that you'll get sick and old and weak and diseased. But if you take out the insurance policy of being really fit and really strong, there's two things that will happen. You'll prevent them. You'll never get them. If you're really fit, if you're the fittest and strongest you can possibly be, you'll never get coronary heart disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, any of the old age diseases, because you just won't, because your body hasn't gotten old, except chronologically, but you'll stay young. You are not going to get depressed. You're not going to get the horrible... there's ADHD and there's, my child's autistic. There's a whole heap of brain diseases. There's some really bad luck diseases there. But you know what? When you're really fit and when you're really strong, you handle all of those so much better. And if you're a parent, for example, that has an autistic child, if you're really fit and really strong, are you more likely to be able to handle that experience? Please say yes. I've got a very strong personal opinion about all of those labels. I just think it's a brain that works differently, and I love this definition. It's not a disability, it's a diffability. You just have a different brain, a different genius, a different way of looking at the world, not a disability. But if you're really fit and really strong, that diffability is easy. It's easier for you to deal with it, whether you're the parent or the child or the family that's involved. I know I'm sharing some very controversial topics, but I live in this world and I love it. I love living my life every single day. I live out in the probably the safest place in the world. It's very unlikely that a tank's going to come up my driveway or that somebody's going to drop a bomb in the South Island of New Zealand. But because I love where I live so much, and because I love my life so much, and because I want people to have, and the 4 things that I bang on about every day, I want everybody to be healthy, fit and strong, have a career or business that they love, be financially free, and have great people in their life. The only war that fits in there is the war on negativity and the war on bad health. Every other war doesn't fit in there. I don't want to control somebody else's country. I don't want to have somebody believe the same religious beliefs as me. I don't need somebody to have the same cultural beliefs as me. I'm an adult with a logical, common sense brain that says everybody has the right to their own opinion. And as I often joke about, but I'm very serious about it today, I'm never going to run for politics, but if I was the president or prime minister or premier of any organisation in government, my number one byline would be, we will leave you alone. Nobody here is going to try and force you to think a certain way, believe a certain religion, have a certain financial plan. You should be able to live your life your way. And wouldn't it be nice to live in a world where everybody, yes, I respect your right to have an opinion. I respect your right to think differently to me. I respect your right to go to church on a different day to me, to have different ideas about who you want to sleep with. I don't care about any of that. Everybody has the right to have their own opinion. But when you start fighting about that, and when you start putting negative thoughts into our kids' brains about wars and religion and culture, and you can't have that, can't eat that because it's bad for you, and you can't do that because can't have, mustn't have, don't have. shouldn't have, and we screw up our kids' brains because they think that there's good foods and bad foods. You can hear I'm very passionate about this. I want our kids to have a great future. I'm an old lady that's had a magnificent life, and I want the future adults of our world to have a magnificent life too. So please help me, hey? Let's go to war against negativity. Turn off the negative stuff. If you were in a place that had no media coverage or no internet coverage, you wouldn't know what was going on in the world, and you'd just live your life. You'd love your kids, you'd play games, you'd walk your dogs, you'd just have a great life. But we constantly bring this rubbish into our lives. Social media, television, radio, other people's opinions. And if those opinions don't agree with me, well, I'm going to get angry. And why would you waste 1 second of your time getting angry about somebody else's opinion? So let's go to war on negativity. Let's go to war on sick bodies, diseased bodies. We don't have to have most of the diseases, and I'll share again, the top medical professionals in the world will share with you somewhere between 80 to 90% of the killer diseases in the world are caused by inactivity and bad diet, and we can prevent them and we can get rid of them, we can cure them. The bad luck ones that we have no control over, we can still handle them better, whether it's a brain disease or a body disease, or it's just a different brain function, and I'll share that again. We can handle all of that so much better if we're the fittest and strongest we could possibly be. So there's my very personal question. If you are a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader, are you as fit as you could possibly be? Are you as strong as you can possibly be? Are you as mentally tough as you can possibly be, so that you can create a great future for our kids? I think it's a really important question.